if the committee would come to order, if the committee would come to order, we're still waiting on the author of the bill, but I might can kind of give you a little bit ahead. I can't remember who all was here and for the hearing yesterday, and we've been working subsequent to that meeting. You know, there is a start date on the substitute Senate Bill 462 of July the 1st. That was the one that we had yesterday that ends with 1S, LC 50-0101S, which you don't have in front of you. With some work with the banking department and the insurance folks and some people in the industry that happened overnight, they were concerned about the July the 1st start date and had considered moving that to October the 1st. So the version that you have actually does that. But subsequent to that, it appears that some of our Senate brethren would rather, and with the department heads, there's Senator Kennedy now. I think they want us to use that microphone. Have you seen that? Have you been through this process? I was just explaining to them, Senator, about what we went through. Is Senator Miller with you out there? Have y'all communicated? No, sir, I think I see him just outside. Okay. Okay. So, you know, one of the problems that we have with going to the October date is that the budget for our insurance commissioner, that would mean, you know, they would have budgeted that their responsibilities would end on the 1st. If it's October, they would have to have money to regulate for that amount of time, which they have not budgeted. So moving to that October date caused a budget problem, a potential budget problem. So I think that's where we are right now. So the choice of the committee is to either go with the July the 1st date that was on the original substitute, which Ms. Donna's going to be handing to you again, or change it to the new substitute, which you have, which is October the 1st. And I think what we're going to allow Senator Kennedy to do is to tell us which date he would prefer. Would he prefer July the 1st, or would he prefer October the 1st, and then present that to the committee that way? So, Senator, are you prepared to? Okay. It's been rather fluid up until the very moment. Thanks for the opportunity to present. I apologize for being late. I was presenting to your House Judiciary Committee. Right. Yes, there was the issue of retroactivity was, you know, given these extraordinary circumstances, and we think that the July the 1st date and the governor signing it at that point would make that a non-issue, that would not be a legal impediment of any court challenge or anything else. So we would be sending a good, clean bill to rules in that regard. So what you're saying is that what we really want to is just to go back to the version yesterday, LC 50-0101S, which calls for a start date of July 1 rather than October the 1st. Other than that, there would be no changes to what we discussed yesterday in the committee. Is that my understanding? Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, I believe that LC 50-0101S that I was just handed actually contains the January 1 date at line 1216. So is there perhaps a different
Oh, yes,
LC?
yes. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do then.
Okay.
There were some Scribner's errors in that, that were corrected in the bill that ends 3S. So I suppose what the posture would be, the best thing to do, since those were, if we're going to change to July the 1st, and that's okay with the committee, then we would make the change in this bill that ends 3S, because the Scribner's errors will be corrected. So lead the committee to where the date would be changed, what page, and where do you want to go to? So council, if the committee were to change to July the 1st, then this would still be a House substitute to Senate Bill 462, is that correct? That's what we would be.
All these dates. Okay. Okay. Mr. Chairman, you want me to give you those line-by-line dates that need to be changed? Is that?
Yes, I
Yes, sir.
want the committee
Okay.
to know where the bill is going to
Okay.
be changed, so.
Okay.
so
Yes, sir.
If there are any questions.
And again, I'm making sure I'm operating under the correct one, LC 500101S.
103S, I believe, is that,
Okay, well,
isn't that correct?
this one you would just, here's. Okay, all right, yes, sir.
Okay, everybody, so we're on the same page here. LC 500103S is what we're working from.
Yes, sir, I have that one, thank you.
Okay, all right,
And,
proceed with telling us to change.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would direct the committee's attention to line 36, which contains the date of October 1, 2020, to be changed to July 1, 2020. The next change, Mr. Chairman, is line 41, again containing the date of October 1, 2020. Oh, got one here. Oh, yes, thank you. I heard someone say line 37, that's correct. Line 37 for the October 1st date. The next one, Mr. Chairman, is line 41. The next one is line 44. The next date, I believe, is line 52. Again, all of these are October 1, 2020 dates to be proposed to July 1, 2020. And Mr. Chairman, I think the next is page 33, line 1101. I'm not changing the September one. June 30, okay. This one's a little different, Mr. Chairman. On the line 1101, there's a date of September 30, but this is not an effective date. This is that every license in force and effect under the former provisions of this chapter on, and that would be proposed change to June 30, 2020.
So instead of September 30, we're looking at June 30 on
Yes,
that
sir.
date.
1101.
1101 on page 32. If I put my glasses on, I could probably tell you a little better. Yeah, that's right.
And then the next line, Mr. Chairman, at 1102, there's the October 1, 2020 again, as an effective date to be changed to July 1, 2020. And I think we have just one more, Mr. Chairman, and that is on the last page, page 37 of the bill, at lines 1215. Again, the October 1, 2020 date would be proposed changed to July 1, 2020. That's correct, yes.
So basically, if you're licensed, when you're transferred, you're still going to be licensed because you don't lose your license. is all it's-
Okay.
Okay, this is the posture that we're in. If it's the committee, these changes to the dates, we will vote on subsequent to voting on the Senate substitute 462. Then I would, if it was the committee's desire, entertain a motion to amend the substitute to 462 to reflect these changes on the dates that we just discussed. Are there any questions for Senator Kennedy from the committee about the legislation at all that might not have been at the hearing yesterday, or if there are any subsequent questions based on what we've discussed so far that you wanted to ask of the author? There are none, so at this time, I would entertain a motion for due pass to substitute to Senate, House substitute to Senate Bill 462. There's a motion, there's a second. Is there any further discussion on that motion? All in favor of the motion? Okay, yes. Now, if it's the committee, thank you. Now, if it's the committee's desire to accommodate Senator Kennedy's changes as to the effective dates that we mentioned, we would need to vote on. We would need to have a motion to amend. We have a motion and we have a second. Are there any other further discussions on the changes that we made on the effective date? Okay, all in favor of the amendment that covers all those dates, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So now, with the amendments, we will be voting on final passage for the House substitute to Senate Bill 462. Do I have a motion on that? Is there a motion? And there's a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Thank you, committee. Motion is passed, bill's passed, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the committee members. I appreciate your patience.
Could you, Senator, before we go, do you have a House sponsor for that bill yet?
Senator Representative Williamson.
I think that's an excellent choice. Thank you, committee, for your patience. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.